Listen carefully, because what I'm about to give you is not comfort, it is command. These are the 12 ruthless rules that will forge you into the strongest version of yourself. Not one of them is gentle. Not one of them is negotiable. They are hard, they are demanding, but they are the blueprint of strength. Your mind is your empire, your battlefield, your weapon. If you fail to master it, you will spend your life as a slave to weakness, distraction, and fear. Every victory you seek in the outer world begins with the conquest of your inner world. No man, no enemy, no obstacle can defeat you unless your own thoughts betray you first. Control your mind absolutely, and you control the course of your destiny. Think about it. Your thoughts create your beliefs create your actions, and your actions create your results. If your mind is scattered, so will be your life. If your mind is poisoned with doubt, fear, and hesitation, every decision you make will be crippled before it even begins. But if your mind is disciplined, razor-sharp, and unshakable, you can walk into storms that destroy others and still come out standing. The strongest version of yourself is not built in the gym first, or in business, or in money. It is built in the mind. The body follows the mind. Success follows the mind. Power follows the mind. Without control of thought, you will forever be pulled like a puppet by every distraction, every insult, every temptation. But when you control it absolutely, you become untouchable. Control means no compromise. It means you decide what stays in your mind and what gets destroyed. Weak thoughts must be slaughtered. Doubt must be strangled. Fear must be exposed and burned away. Do not negotiate with weakness. Do not give safe harbor to hesitation. The moment a thought enters that does not serve your strength, you crush it and replace it with one that does. That is what absolute control looks like. Most people are prisoners of their emotions. They wake up feeling tired, so they move slow. They feel unmotivated, so they do nothing. They feel afraid, so they quit. But emotions are not masters. They are signals. The weak allow emotions to dictate their actions. The strong dictate their actions regardless of emotion. Master your mind and you master your emotions. When fear arises, you move anyway. When laziness whispers, you rise anyway. When doubt shouts, you advance anyway. This is how men of iron are built. Understand this truth. Discipline is mental. You can tell yourself, I will go to the gym at 6, but if your mind is weak, you will make excuses. You can set goals, but without mental control, you will abandon them at the first sign of struggle. Discipline is not about chains or restrictions. It is about freedom. When you control your mind, you are free from weakness, free from hesitation, free from failure. Without control, you are a prisoner of every distraction. With control, you are the commander of your destiny. Ask yourself what thoughts dominate your mind daily. Are they thoughts of victory, power, and growth? Or are they thoughts of fear, limitation, and regret? Your life is a mirror of the thoughts you tolerate. If you want to change your life, you must first change the thoughts you allow to live in your mind. This is ruthless self-policing. Do not allow weakness to survive even 1 second in your head. Control of the mind is not a one-time act. It is a daily war. Every morning you must seize your thoughts before the world does. Before the noise of opinions, before the chaos of distractions, you must set the direction of your own mind. Train it like a soldier. Drill it with purpose. Teach it to obey you. And when it tries to wander, when it tries to slip into laziness, you drag it back with force. No mercy, no compromise. The greatest enemies you will ever face are not outside. They live inside. Doubt, fear, laziness, insecurity. These are assassins that live within your head. If you allow them to speak, they will destroy you quietly. But when you stand guard at the gate of your mind, they cannot enter. You do not beg them to leave. You banish them. You do not ask for strength. You command it. Those who master their minds become dangerous. They cannot be manipulated by opinions. They cannot be broken by failure. They cannot be enslaved by comfort. They walk through life with fire in their eyes because nothing controls them except their will. That is strength. That is power. So I tell you, control your mind absolutely. Train it to think only in terms of victory. Teach it to refuse weakness. Command it to focus. Feed it with knowledge, with clarity, with purpose. Protect it from gossip, from negativity, from doubt. Build it into a fortress so strong that no storm can shake it. When your mind is under control, you will stop being reactive and start being intentional. You will no longer live like a leaf blown by the wind of circumstances. You will live like a mountain, unmoved, unshakable, immovable. And when others crumble, you will rise. When others quit, you will push forward. When others surrender, you will conquer. This is the first and greatest rule of strength. Control your mind absolutely, because the moment your mind bends, your life bends with it. But when your mind is firm, your world bends to you. The strongest version of yourself is not given, it is built, and it begins in the one place that only you control, the empire of your mind. Pain is not your enemy. It is your greatest weapon, your sharpest teacher, your most loyal ally. The weak run from it, curse it, and try to escape it. The strong embrace it, harness it, and transform it into fire. Every ounce of strength you will ever carry comes from the weight of pain you are willing to bear. Every great life is built not in comfort, but in struggle. If you want to be unbreakable, you must learn to make pain your fuel instead of your prison. Pain is the proof that growth is happening. Muscles tear before they grow stronger. The mind cracks before it becomes wiser. The spirit suffers before it becomes unshakable. If you shield yourself from pain, you shield yourself from progress. No man ever achieved greatness living soft, chasing comfort, or avoiding the trials of life. The path to becoming the strongest version of yourself is carved through suffering, and only those who endure it rise to the top. Understand this: comfort kills ambition. When everything is easy, you have no reason to fight, no reason to sharpen yourself, no reason to climb higher. Pain is the resistance that makes you strong. Just as steel is forged in fire, your soul is forged in struggle, and the deeper the fire burns, the stronger the steel becomes. If you see pain as punishment, you will run. But if you see pain as preparation, you will embrace it. Most people beg for a life without pain, but such a life is a slow death. A man without pain is a man without growth, without hunger, without edge. You cannot sharpen a blade without friction, and you cannot sharpen a life without pain. Every trial you face is not here to break you, but to sculpt you into something greater than you were yesterday. The question is not whether you will face pain. The question is whether you will use it or waste it. When pain arrives, the weak cry, complain, and surrender. But the strong smile in the fire. They say, this is my training ground. This is my advantage. This is the pain that others run from, and by enduring it, I will surpass them. What destroys one man builds another. It is not the pain itself that matters, but how you respond to it. Do you see it as defeat, or do you see it as fuel? Your greatest victories will always be on the far side of pain. Every achievement, every breakthrough, every transformation requires you to suffer more than most are willing to suffer. That is why so few ever reach true greatness, because they do not have the stomach to endure the fire. But you must understand, pain is temporary. It feels eternal while you are in it, but it always passes. And when it passes, it leaves behind scars, lessons, strength, and unshakable power. Comfort fades, but strength remains. Pain is the toll you pay for power, and the ones who pay most become the strongest. Think of the hardest moments in your life, the heartbreaks, the failures, the betrayals, the nights when you thought you couldn't take another step. Look at who you became after those storms. That version of you was born in pain. Without those trials, you would still be soft, still be untested, still be ordinary. The very strength you carry today exists because of what you suffered yesterday. That is the truth. Pain does not weaken you. It wakes you up. It shakes you. It burns away the illusions and forces you to see what you're truly capable of. So do not curse your pain. Do not beg for it to disappear. Welcome it, invite it. Say, give me your worst, because I will turn it into my best. The man who embraces pain is unstoppable, because he is not controlled by fear of suffering. He understands that pain is not a wall, it is a door. And only those who walk through it reach the other side where strength, wisdom, and power live. Pain is not just physical, it is emotional, mental, and spiritual. The loneliness of sacrifice, the stress of chasing a vision, the frustration of setbacks, this is pain too. And yet it is the same law. If you carry it, you grow. If you avoid it, you shrink. The world respects only those who can endure more than others, because that endurance creates a depth that cannot be faked. Every time you embrace pain, you separate yourself from the masses. They hide from struggle, you walk into it. They complain, you adapt. They surrender, you advance. This is why the strong are few and the weak are many, because only the few understand that pain is not punishment, it is privilege. It is proof that you are alive, proof that you are chasing something bigger than ease, proof that you are growing into something the ordinary will never touch. Remember this truth. Pain is not the end. It is the beginning. It is the seed of strength, the spark of greatness, the test of destiny. Those who run from it stay average forever. Those who embrace it become legends. So when you feel pain, don't escape it, use it. Let it carve discipline into your soul. Let it harden your resolve. Let it remind you that growth is happening right now in the fire. And one day when you stand strong, unshakable, and victorious, you will look back at all the pain you endured and realize it was not your enemy. It was your power. Weak people are poison. Their presence corrodes your vision. Their habits infect your discipline, and their doubts suffocate your ambition. If you walk with the weak, you will inherit their weakness. If you surround yourself with mediocrity, you will slowly become mediocre. This is not opinion, it is law. Energy is contagious. Attitudes spread like wildfire. And if you do not eliminate the weak from your circle, they will pull you down before you ever realize it. The truth is simple. You cannot climb to greatness while dragging anchors. Every weak person in your life is an anchor tied to your leg. They will not lift when you rise, they will only weigh you down. They will not cheer when you chase your dreams, they will laugh, doubt, and question you. They will not support your hunger, they will feed your excuses. If you want to become the strongest version of yourself, you must have the courage to cut them loose. Look around you. Who speaks life into you, and who drains it, who sharpens you, and who dulls you, who challenges you to rise, and who whispers that you're asking for too much. This is the test of your circle. A weak circle will never produce a strong life. If you surround yourself with complainers, you will complain. If you surround yourself with cowards, you will hesitate. If you surround yourself with quitters, you will quit. But if you surround yourself with lions, you will roar. If you surround yourself with warriors, you will fight. If you surround yourself with builders, you will build. Most people fail not because of their own weakness, but because of the weakness they tolerate in others. They allow negative friends, lazy partners, toxic voices, and envious souls to stay close. And slowly, silently, these people drain every drop of energy. You cannot afford that. The strongest version of yourself demands a ruthless standard. That means anyone who does not match your hunger, your discipline, and your vision has no place beside you. This does not mean you hate them. It means you refuse to let them sabotage your destiny. Weak people can exist, but not in your circle. They can live their lives, but not inside your vision. They can walk their path, but not next to yours. You must separate from them like a soldier separating from dead weight, because if you carry them, you will never make it up the mountain. Weakness spreads. It begins with small seeds, gossip, excuses, laziness, doubt. You let it slide once, you let it slide twice, and soon it infects you. You start talking like them. You start moving like them. You start thinking like them. And before you know it, you are one of them. That is why you must eliminate it early, ruthlessly, and completely. The people closest to you are either building your empire or burning it down. There is no neutral ground. Every word they speak is either fuel or poison. Every action they take either lifts you or drags you. Every day you keep the wrong people close is a day you sabotage your own future. You cannot be soft about this. You cannot hesitate. You must be decisive. Weak people go, strong people stay. That is the law of growth. The loudest voice in any room is not the one who talks the most, but the one who achieves the most. You cannot argue with results. You cannot debate with proof. When you walk in strength, when you produce undeniable outcomes, the world is forced to listen, even if you never say a word. This is the power of action over speech. To speak less and do more means controlling your ego. It means resisting the temptation to show off before the work is done. It means understanding that your hunger is weakened when you seek approval too soon. Talking about your goals satisfies your mind just enough to kill urgency. Doing keeps the hunger alive. Silence keeps the fire burning. If you want to stay dangerous, say nothing and move in silence until the mission is complete. The strongest warriors throughout history never announced their strike. They moved quietly, prepared in secret, and attacked with precision. Their enemies never saw them coming until it was too late. This is how you must live. Silence your words, sharpen your actions, move quietly, then deliver results that thunder louder than any speech could. Speak less, do more also means refusing to explain yourself. The weak waste time defending their dreams to doubters, justifying their goals to the blind, or proving their worth to the insecure. Stop wasting words on those who do not understand. Let your results answer for you. Let your victory silence your critics. Let your success embarrass their doubt. Every hour spent talking could be an hour spent building. Every conversation about your plan could be action taken on that plan. Every argument with a critic is time stolen from progress. The strongest man does not argue, he advances. He does not debate, he dominates. He does not promise, he produces. Words can lie, but results cannot. A man can say he is disciplined, but his body will reveal the truth. A man can claim he is focused, but his actions will expose his distractions. A man can declare greatness, but his results, or lack of them, will show his reality. Do not let your words betray you. Let your actions define you. Speaking less does not mean silence forever. It means earning the right to speak. When you have results, when you have victories, when you have proof carved into reality, then your words carry weight. Then people listen because they see power behind your voice. But until then, your words are dust. Build first, speak later. This rule demands discipline. It demands that you restrain your ego, control your tongue, and channel your energy into relentless action. It demands that you resist the easy satisfaction of talking about greatness and instead endure the hard grind of building it. It demands that you choose execution over applause, silence over validation, and proof over promises. When you live by this rule, you become unstoppable. The world cannot predict you because you reveal nothing. Doubters cannot drain you because you do not feed them with words. Haters cannot trap you because you leave them in silence. Meanwhile, your results grow, your strength compounds, your empire expands. And by the time the world notices, it is too late. You are already far ahead. Speak less, do more. Let the weak chatter while you build. Let them gossip while you grind. Let them doubt while you execute. Words fade. Action endures. Words are forgotten. Results are undeniable. The strongest version of yourself is not heard, it is seen. And when your actions finally speak, their echo will drown out every voice that ever doubted you. The greatest enemy you will ever face is not the world. It is the man in the mirror. The strongest version of yourself is not built by conquering others, but by conquering yourself again and again every single day. Conquer yourself daily, because discipline fades if it is not renewed, strength weakens if it is not trained, and mastery dies if it is not practiced. Victory today means nothing tomorrow unless you rise and conquer again. Most men lose not because the world defeats them, but because they fail to master themselves. They wake up slaves to their impulses, prisoners of their laziness, servants of their emotions. They let comfort dictate their choices, let fear choke their actions, let weakness command their lives. But the strong are different. They wake each morning to war against themselves, and they win. They crush their excuses, silence their doubts, and break their own resistance. That is why they rise while others fall. To conquer yourself daily is to refuse comfort. Your body will beg for rest. Your mind will whisper for ease. Your emotions will cry for softness. You must deny them. You must push beyond what feels good and demand what makes you strong. Every day you either feed weakness or feed strength. Every choice is a battle. Every action is war. The man who conquers himself wins that war before it even begins. It is easy to conquer once. Anyone can have a good day, a strong moment, a burst of discipline. But the strongest version of you does not rise from one victory. He rises from consistent victory every morning, every night, every single day without fail. This is the grind that breaks the weak and hardens the strong. Daily conquest is not optional. It is survival. Your habits are proof of your conquest. If you rise early, you conquer. If you train when tired, you conquer. If you work when unmotivated, you conquer. If you choose discipline over distraction, you conquer. Each small victory stacks. Each battle won builds. Each day mastered becomes another stone in the fortress of your strength. But the moment you stop, the moment you surrender to weakness, cracks begin to form. Conquering yourself daily means killing excuses the moment they appear. Excuses are lies dressed as logic. They whisper, "You've done enough. You deserve rest. You can start tomorrow. If you listen, you lose. If you obey, you weaken. You must crush excuses without mercy. Replace them with action. Replace them with fire. Replace them with a standard so ruthless that your own weakness cannot survive." The man who conquers himself daily becomes untouchable. He is not ruled by moods, not controlled by circumstances, not swayed by emotion. He acts from principle, from discipline, from unbreakable will. Storms may rage, obstacles may rise, critics may shout, but he does not bend. Why? Because he has already fought the hardest battle and won. He has conquered himself. This conquest is not glamorous. It is not loud. It is silent, unseen, ruthless discipline behind closed doors. It is waking up when no one is watching. It is pushing through when no one is cheering. It is holding the line when no one will ever know. The crowd sees the victories, but not the grind. The grind is where strength is forged, and the grind is daily. Do not think of conquest as something you achieve once. Think of it as something you renew forever, like sharpening a blade, like fueling a fire, like training a muscle. If you stop, you weaken. But if you persist, if you commit, if you conquer yourself day after day, you become sharper, stronger, more dangerous than anyone around you. Conquering yourself daily means owning every part of your life. Your mind, your body, your habits, your choices, none escape your control. You command your thoughts, you command your actions, you command your direction. Nothing within you is allowed to rebel. Nothing is allowed to slip. You are both king and warrior within your own life, ruling and fighting at the same time. Remember this, no external enemy can ever truly defeat you if you have mastered yourself. But if you lose the inner war, no victory outside will save you. Greatness is not about conquering the world first. It is about conquering yourself first. Every morning, every night, every day in between. Do that, and the world cannot stand against you. Conquer yourself daily. Wake up ready to fight the weakness within. Crush excuses, slaughter laziness, destroy doubt. Build discipline so strong that nothing can break it. Stack victories day by day until you become a force the world cannot deny. This is the path, this is the law, this is how the strongest version of yourself is born. Not once, not someday, but daily, relentlessly, forever. Most people fear failure so much that they never even try. They sit on the sidelines, paralyzed, convinced that falling is worse than never moving. But the reality is simple. The man who never fails never grows. The man who never risks never rises. The man who never loses never wins. Failure is the price of greatness. And if you refuse to pay it, you will remain small forever. Transforming failure into fire means refusing to let it break you. It means taking every rejection, every loss, every mistake, and feeding it into your hunger. It means using the sting of defeat as motivation, not misery. It means looking failure in the eye and saying, "You will not bury me. You will build me." When you do this, failure becomes your weapon. Every loss becomes a step. Every setback becomes a lesson. Every defeat becomes the fuel that drives you further. Think about fire. Fire consumes whatever it touches, but it also transforms it. Wood becomes heat. Pain becomes power. Failure becomes fuel. You must become the kind of person who feeds on defeat, who welcomes mistakes because they sharpen you, who sees every fall as proof that you are in the arena fighting. The crowd laughs at the man who falls, but the man who falls is still 10 times stronger than the man who never dared to stand. Failure is not the opposite of success. It is the foundation of it. Every champion, every leader, every warrior you admire has failed more times than most people have even tried. Their victories stand tall only because they were built on mountains of defeat. The difference is they never let failure bury them. They turned it into fire. They took the lessons, they adjusted the strategy, and they came back stronger. That cycle, fail, learn, rise, is the engine of greatness. You must train your mind to respond to failure with action, not collapse. When you fall, do not cry, do not complain, do not give up. Rise quickly, learn fast. Strike again. This is how the strong live. They waste no time drowning in self-pity. They take the hit, they gather the lesson, and they move forward harder than before. Every time you rise from failure, you become more dangerous, more resilient, more unshakable. The weak let failure define them. They say, I failed, so I am a failure. The strong separate themselves from the act. They say, I failed, but I am not done. I failed, but I am learning. I failed, but I am rising. That mindset is the difference between a quitter and a conqueror. One lets the fire burn them down, the other uses the fire to rise. Remember this, the only true failure is quitting. As long as you keep moving, as long as you keep fighting, every loss is temporary. You cannot be defeated unless you surrender. Failure is simply a step on the road, a test of endurance, a filter that separates those who want comfort from those who demand greatness. If you endure it, if you harness it, if you use it, you will reach a level most people never even touch. When you transform failure into fire, you become fearless. You no longer fear rejection because you know it fuels you. You no longer fear mistakes because you know they shape you. You no longer fear defeat because you know it is only a chapter, not the ending. Fear dies when failure becomes fire, because nothing can stop the man who refuses to stay down. So fall. Fail, stumble, break, but never stay there. Rise every time with more power, more hunger, more fire. Let the pain of defeat drive you harder than the sweetness of victory. Let the scars remind you of your strength, not your weakness. Let every failure you suffer become the flame that pushes you toward the strongest version of yourself. Because in the end, victory is not built on avoiding failure. It is built on mastering it. It is built on using it, transforming it, and turning it into the fire that fuels greatness. Failure is not the end. Failure is the beginning. And if you learn to burn it into power, nothing in this world can stop you. Mediocrity dies the moment you raise your standards beyond negotiation. The strongest version of yourself is not built on what you occasionally accept. It is built on what you refuse to tolerate. Standards are the backbone of strength. When you lower them, you weaken yourself. When you raise them and never compromise, you set a foundation of power that cannot be shaken. Keep ruthless standards, because the man who accepts good enough will never touch greatness. Weak men compromise. They cut corners. They let laziness, excuses, and comfort slip into their discipline. They tell themselves it's fine, that one small break won't matter. But it does. Every time you compromise, you chip away at your power. Every time you accept less than your best, you train your mind to be weak. Before long, your life reflects those lowered standards. Soft, undisciplined, directionless. The strongest rise because they demand more. They demand more of themselves, more of their actions, more of their results. They do not negotiate with weakness. They do not excuse mediocrity. They live by ruthless standards, standards that others call extreme, obsessive, or impossible. But that is exactly why they dominate. While others settle for average, they refuse to. While others sleep, they grind. While others excuse failure, they sharpen themselves. Their standards cut away everything weak, leaving only strength. Keeping ruthless standards means setting a line and never stepping below it. It means demanding discipline in your mind, your body, your actions. It means holding yourself accountable when no one else is watching. It means refusing to lie to yourself, refusing to sugarcoat, refusing to accept excuses. The strong measure themselves not by what others think, but by what they know they are capable of. They know weakness is always waiting, always whispering, always trying to pull them down. Ruthless standards are the shield that blocks that weakness. Standards are not suggestions, they are laws. When you live by them, you forge consistency. When you bend them, you destroy trust in yourself. The strongest version of you must be able to depend on your own word. If you say you will train, then train. If you say you will build, then build. If you say you will sacrifice, then sacrifice. Ruthless standards mean your word is iron, your actions are law, and your path is unshakable. Many people will not understand you. They will call you too strict, too disciplined, too intense. Let them. Their words come from weakness, from fear, from the comfort they refuse to leave. They want you to lower your standards so they can feel better about theirs. Do not listen. Let them laugh while you build. Let them complain while you rise. Let them doubt while you execute. In the end, they will serve as proof that high standards divide the strong from the weak. You must be ruthless with yourself because the world is ruthless with you. Life does not reward the soft. Life does not care about your excuses. Life does not bow to your feelings. Life respects strength, and strength is built only by refusing to lower the bar. The man who disciplines himself with ruthless standards is prepared for battle. The man who lowers his guard for comfort is already conquered. The greatest danger is not failure, it is compromise. Failure teaches you. Compromise corrupts you. Failure can be turned into fire. Compromise turns into rot. Once you accept less than your best, it becomes a habit. And once weakness becomes a habit, your strength dies. That is why your standards must be ruthless. They protect you from decay. They sharpen you daily. They keep you aligned with the strongest version of yourself. Ruthless standards are not about perfection. They are about principle. You will stumble, you will fall. But you do not lower the standard because of the fall. You rise to meet it again. You recommit, you reinforce, you demand that even in defeat, you will hold the line. That is how warriors are made. That is how empires are built. That is how the strongest version of yourself emerges, not by bending the rules, but by becoming the rule. Every action you take should scream discipline. Every choice should reflect your vision. Every day should prove your commitment. You eat with discipline. You train with intensity. You work with precision. You sleep with purpose. That is what ruthless standards mean. Not one part of your life escapes the demand for strength. Not one corner of your character tolerates weakness. Everything you do aligns with power. Keep ruthless standards because your future depends on it. Your dreams demand it. Your destiny requires it. Without them, you are just another man drifting in mediocrity. With them, you are unstoppable, untouchable, unshakable. The man of ruthless standards becomes a force. The one who cannot be broken, cannot be softened, cannot be defeated.